Are you excited that we don't have to be able to vote on doing anything else tonight? Are you excited that we don't have to talk about bylaws so that we can figure out what? I am excited that he actually asked me to come up here and announce it. But I want to introduce someone who has been a video guru doing liberty work for quite some time. He has worked on the Joe Jorgensen campaign. He's worked with Vermin Supreme, Spike Cohen, so many other people, capturing libertarians in action, telling stories with that. And I am honored when we met that he's actually going to be making a campaign video for me. So I am honored to introduce Mr. Dan Smotz.
Thank you, sir. You just gave away the whole damn speech, man. Thanks. All right, this podium is actually quite awkwardly placed. Libertarians, we can move things if we want to, right? So, hey, guys, how's it going? I'm feeling quite woo myself, thank you. So, what kind of audience are we working with here? Are you guys like, do you want like the PG version, or do you want just a little bit more color? So a little bit more color?
Somewhere between CIA, Guild, JFK.
All in favor of color say aye. Aye. And all racists say nay. All right. Checkmate, racists. All right, it's really hard to type while doing this. 1 second. Just got to update my Instagram. So, yes, they let the camera guy speak. Thank you all for listening to the camera guy for a few minutes. They let anybody do this, literally. You just got to ask nicely. But yes, I have been called, if you're not familiar with me, I've been called the Libertarian shadow government. I've been called the disgruntled freedom propagandist. I've been called by the great Thomas MacDonald, philosopher. He called me the fucking Libertarian Illuminati. I'm not sure. Is that over the line? Just testing the waters. So they call me these things because, yes, I do make the videos, which, by the way, Mike, thank you so much for that lovely introduction. That was very, very nice. I just thought I was going to have to introduce myself, but that would have been fine too, because I'm doing a great job. But all the things that I do are manipulation and propaganda, basically. And I know those words get a bad rap, like manipulation, propaganda, scary sounding things. But they're just tools. It's just the power of persuasion. It's just the power of convincing somebody that something is real, whether it's real or not. And when it's used for good, it's when you're convincing, when you're persuading people that the real things that they're supposed to believe are actual truth and real things. And our enemies tend to use the power of propaganda in the inverse, where they convince you that things that aren't real are, real. War is good and all that stuff. All the things that you guys talk about. I listened to you guys scream at each other for the last 8 hours, so if the jokes don't land, just give me a break, just clap, Play along. It's an interactive thing. All right. But on my show I talk about conspiracies, politics, and religion, just the taboo topics, the things that used to be taboo, but now they're not even 3 different categories. Conspiracies are religion, and religion is politics, and politics is conspiracies, and it's all just culture at this point in this world that we live in. But in all of that, I've had the opportunity to interview a bunch of amazing people. The thing that I oddly want to talk about the most tonight is the religion stuff, because I like to make things even more uncomfortable than I already have. So I grew up, well, first off, my job basically is to help you guys manipulate better. It's to help you guys persuade people just a little bit better, to help you guys be your best and put your best foot forward. And the videos and the propaganda, that's what our enemy uses. That's what we should be using to the fullest extent of our abilities to counteract that. But enough about you guys. Let's talk more about me. I want to talk a little bit about Christianity. We got any Christians in the room? Raise your hand. Raise your hand. Don't be ashamed. Don't be scared. This is not like Columbine or anything. Now, do we have any atheists in the room? Raise your hand. Wow, a shockingly less amount than I was expecting at a libertarian convention, but good on you guys. Good on you guys. We'll talk about you more later. Yeah, we are down here. So I grew up in Illinois. My dad was a pastor, and I grew up in that culture a lot. So I'm very familiar. I know a lot about propaganda, if you will. And so that's not a slight on my dad. Like, just the culture of the late 90s, early 2000s Christian culture that I grew up in had its problems. It had some things that basically, the reason why I'm bringing this up at a Libertarian convention is because a lot of you guys are trying a lot of the same tactics. And a lot of the tactics that they used are what pushed me to be an atheist, to be quite uncomfortable about it. And I'm here to warn you from the future of the things that did not work for me in their propaganda. And it might be weird to talk about the failed marketing strategies of a religion. However, that, it's uncomfortable. That's what I do. It's fine. Some of the similarities. Let's just talk about some things in the Christian culture of the late 90s. Don't worry, this isn't like dark the whole time. There's some lighthearted things. But the division, the 99%, we agree on all these things. We agree on the Jesus idea. We agree on, all of this stuff. But there's that book of Revelation that gets real confusing. And if you disagree slightly on that 1%, you are evil. Get thee hence behind me, Satan. And that attitude. Does that sound familiar to any? The attitude of, if you're not the 100% agrees with me, you're not a real Christian? Does that sound familiar to you guys at all? That's what I thought. So, you can play dumb, it's fine. So, Baptists, Catholics, Presbyterians, Calvinists, Lutherans, all these things, they have their goods, they have their bads. Obviously, they're made up of people, but those people are separated because they disagree on very small things a lot of the time. And I don't know who's right and who's wrong in that capacity. What? We haven't even gotten to you guys yet. Jeez, I'm talking about Christians still. Anarchists, minarchists, agorists, anarcho-capitalists, anarcho-communists, whatever the fuck that is, and more ists, isms than a leftist meme. You got a lot. And they're all valid. They're all good. But throwing somebody aside because they're not quite in your camp, I've seen a lot of that, and that needs to, we are the party of weed. Why aren't we smoking bowls and chilling the fuck out a little bit more? Like, maybe I live on Twitter too much. Yes, thank you. Thank you, sir. It's our thing. Let's own it. Also, a lot of big-brained hypocrisy, a lot of egos, a lot of cliques, a lot of hierarchies, a lot of inauthenticity. Which group am I talking about? Christians or libertarians? You decide. Yes, I know. Look, I'm at a Libertarian convention. I'm speaking to you guys. If I go to a Republican convention, I'll lambast them all day long. I do it on my podcast. But yes, you're right. They're worse. I'm just saying some stuff. So, because they gave me the microphone. I'm the camera guy. So, another thing in the Christian culture that I took issue with was a whole lot of shitty art. Right? Like, who's ever suffered a Christian film before? Who's ever had to sit through? You want to make an atheist out of somebody? Show them Kirk Cameron Saving Christmas. You know what I'm talking about. What happened to, the cathedrals of back in the day, the inspired artwork, the Sistine Chapel, the paintings, the poems, all the Christian culture that inspired generations. What happened to that? Why did it turn into cheesy Jesus soap operas? What happened? And let me tell you, there's so the main issue that I have with the Christian movies, I think they're trying, God bless their hearts, but they are, I call it parking the message cart before the art horse. Like, they really have something to say. They really want to say it, and so they are Steven Spielberg. But they're actually, like, if they self-reflect a little bit, they could have realized that they weren't made to be Steven Spielberg. They were maybe made to be a youth pastor, because that's the level of messaging that you're doing. Like libertarians, we do this a lot. We do the message cart before the art horse. I see it a lot. You call yourself a libertarian this or a libertarian that, and then it doesn't really, is it your best, really? Or are you just pushing a message? And there's nothing wrong with libertarian art. By all means, we need more of it. We need more good art that is really about what's in your soul, creating art and putting that into the world as a value. And then, just be a libertarian while you're doing that. You don't have to be the messaging person all the time. Maybe you're not made for that. That's okay. And I saw a lot of pastors, inauthentic pastors. And of course, in this analogy, this comparison, those would be the politicians. But I repeat myself sometimes. So politicians, future politicians, people planning on running or whatever, are you sure? Are you really sure? And this is probably not the most popular message to ask a libertarian convention, where a room full of people encouraging other people to run for being politicians. But is it really the best thing that you have to contribute to liberty? Because liberty, I think it deserves your best. So at the risk of remaining unpopular, I ask you, is it your best? Like, you can run for, I'm just like genuinely concerned for the person who runs for office their entire, and I'm not speaking to anybody in this room, like, we'll talk about you later. You guys are great. You guys, all good. You brought me out here, so I'm not complaining. But like, somebody runs to be like dog catcher for their entire life, just hypothetical. And, you know, they put a lot into it, into just that, somebody runs for Libertarian dog catcher. My bad. They run their entire life, and they have, you know, this goal in mind of setting the world free by doing this over and over again. But are they doing it for the betterment of the world, or are they doing it for status? And if they're doing it for status, if they're doing it for the wrong reasons, perhaps that energy could have been spent, I don't know, being the best libertarian father of all time instead. And maybe that would create more, like, is fitting in the box of running, is that literally creating more freedom, or would it create more freedom, like, in you, around you, to the people in your sphere, if you were just passionate about your passion, if you took a second to think outside the box and come up with something else? Now, I think that, obviously, pouring more into the kids is very needed in this movement. Like, the next generation ripple, if we just show them some authenticity and the realness, like, that's what's bringing the kids out to this. Met one, she sat next to me, don't remember your name, I'm sorry.
Lillian.
Lillian?
Yeah.
She's awesome. And she came, I asked her if her dad dragged her here or if she chose to be here, and she said she basically dragged her dad to be here, so give it up for her. We need more of that. Inspired kids that want to do exciting things. Like, don't get me wrong, if you are passionate, if you're made for the politics your ass off, please. Somebody needs to do it. And if you're not, just, like, get out of the way and let the guy who wants to do it. And you, like, that's nothing against you. I'm just, like, I'm giving you encouragement to go find the thing that is you and use that maybe to hold up that guy and lift up the guy who's inspired about being a politician, because we need that too. So, like, do it if you're gonna do it. If you're not gonna do it, you know, just no. Don't do it for status, that's all. Like Ron Paul, you ever heard of him? Anybody? He's pretty cool, right? Cool guy. He wasn't a, thank you for applauding Ron Paul. I'll tell him later, I'll shoot him a text. Ron Paul was cool, and it wasn't because he was a politician, it was because he was a real-ass dude. He was genuine, who just happened to be a politician. So, like, I think everybody has a role in not just the liberty movement, yes, that, but the fabric of humanity that they're created for, and when they actually find their passion and really give it their all, they will not only make their life better, their world freer, they will free people around them. They like, it ripples. I don't know. I think that the system has a great ability to make us forget about our passions and make us forget about the things that make us uniquely us. And it works to their benefit, and I would like to reverse that. Thanks. Thank you. How much time do I got? I don't want to get into Larry's time. Anybody? No, I'm not paying attention. What are we in? Okay, whatever. Just wave your hand when you want me to stop, and I'll stop. But have fun with your passion, guys. Like, find that thing and have fun with it. Really niche down on it, because, like, if you told me when I was 12, if you came to me and you said, "Young Danny, my lad, one day you'll grow up to speak to a room full of probably autistic people, let's be honest, a room of mostly white autistic men, and you will test." Hey, I'm just talking about myself too. It's all good. You will talk to them about how you became a propagandist who makes stuff for libertarian, makes works of art like war is gay. And war is retarded. That's my life. By the way, I noticed that Mike didn't mention I worked on the Jeremy Kauffman campaign too. I'm not ashamed. I was sometimes the guy behind the scenes, poked him to be a little bit worse. Or behind the scenes poking Jo Jorgensen to just be a little bit less uninteresting. And she's great. Like, as a grandma, it's fine. It's fine, you guys. Calm down, the business is over. We got all the angriness out of the way. So be honest, be humble, be generous. Like, I find that when I am honest, humble, and generous, and especially when I give it 110 fucking %, like even if I'm not getting paid 110 fucking %, I have never regretted it once. I don't always do it, but when I do, I have never regretted it once. Have fun, niche down. If you're not having fun, then are you, we're trying to give out freedom, you guys. Can you give out freedom if you don't have freedom? And if you're not having fun, do you have even mental freedom? If you don't have joy, what are you selling these people? If you're going around pissed off all the time, what do they see in you that would even attract them to the ideas that you're trying to sell to them? And the M. Night Shyamalan twist at the end is that I am not an atheist now. Sorry, atheists, you're wrong. You're wrong. You thought I was on your side the whole time. I'm not. I believe in God, and I have a completely different, more authentic and real, unique, logical experience with my spirituality, with God, and all of that. And what brought me back is like a 3+ hour conversation that we don't have time for right now. But the short answer, a lot of it was the people who were just really genuine, the real ones, the people who found me in like the darkest point in my life and dragged me back to health, basically, loved me back to health. And that's what we need to be. We need to be the real ones, because we've got a world full of people that are just walking around in their darkest point. We just got out of COVID. Long COVID is fake, but this is lingering effects, certainly, and it's mental effects, and we need to find people in that darkness, and we need to love them back to health. That is how you sell a product, my friends. We just had, me and Mike had, and Noah, sorry, had dinner with Pastor Moses last night, and they're awesome. Do you know Pastor Moses, everybody? Oh, he's waving at me. 3 minutes. Okay, Pastor Moses is awesome. He is doing the Lord's work and the Libertarians' work and all the work, and it has nothing to do with politics. He doesn't care about politics at all. He's doing what is right because he knows it's right. And whether you're Christian or atheist or whatever, or libertarian, that's all it takes. Just doing what we all know is the right thing to do. Like, if we talk about this libertarian utopia, if you wouldn't help your neighbor right now, then good luck convincing them that, losing social safety nets is the way to go, and they can trust you to help them if they fail. So if you want to sell it, live it, I guess. Like, we can talk about libertarian utopia all day long, or we can start building heaven on earth right now, is the way I look at it. And the main way that you do that is building your culture around you by being the most authentic self that you can be. Yeah, we can skip some of this because we're running out of time. If you want the full version, I do have a podcast while I'm looking for more notes at thesystemsdown.tv. You can follow it there. And it's hard to market a shadow government, so I got to sneak it in when I can. So I ask you guys, are you all called to be pastors? Or is that just a box? If you are called, then great. And of course, by pastors, I mean politicians, but I sometimes repeat myself. Is that what brings the most freedom to you and the people around you? Or are you made to build the Sistine Chapel or paint the Sistine Chapel or whatever they did with the inspirational things that inspired people for generations? Or maybe you're made to be the best libertarian father, grandfather, or what have you that inspires generations for years to come. And if any of this makes you uncomfortable, then good, great. Because if I didn't challenge you at all, then I would have no value in being here and I wouldn't be giving it my best. And that's all I'm challenging you guys to do, is give it your best, audit yourself, know where your value lies, and go full force into it. Sell it, live it now, because the world fucking needs you guys. And my name is Dan Smotz. Thank you for listening to me. I appreciate it. And I have one more thing to say. Your keynote speaker for the evening is a man who needs no introduction, but they told me to give him one, so I will do it. According to your agenda, he is a husband, father, Marine, entrepreneur, teacher, and political activist. He is also a man who clearly has even more faith in humanity than I do, because he still somehow has hope for New York. He is a man who, as I understand it, really, really fucking loves onions and has a real passion for liberty. Ladies and gentlemen, the great, the one, the only, Mr. Larry Sharp.
I do love onions, thank you.
Absolutely.